The Chimp Paradox offers a mind management system through which all of us can reach our full potential, master our emotions, and understand our thoughts. I'm a big fan of being succinct, so very short summary of this video, read the book. Hey friends, welcome to another video. My name is Connor. I'm a medical student studying in London. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of my key lessons and key takeaways from probably one of my favourite self-help books, The Chimp Paradox by Prof Steve Peters. What's great about this book is it offers a basic framework for understanding of the human psyche, which any of us can use to better ourselves. I would really appreciate it if you give this video a little like and subscribe to the channel for more. I love making these videos, but it's always nice to see a little something for the effort I put in. In the Chimp Paradox, Professor Peters creates this analogy which I think is accessible to all of us. And he uses this analogy to explain all of those unwanted thoughts and emotions and things you have in your head that you just can't quite explain and can't quite control. We can use this framework to deal with our own emotions, control our expectations, and really importantly for me, develop habits. First of all, I want to really quickly talk through the metaphor or analogy that Professor Peters has created for the human brain. He divides it into three parts. First of all, and most importantly, is you, the human. You as a human are a conscious and thinking and analysing being that likes to use logic and understanding and reasoning in your decision making. The human part of the psyche anatomically relates to the prefrontal cortex, which is the front area of your brain. The second part of your psyche, the second part of the human brain, is the chimp. We can think of as an unthinking, unconnected brain that is not under our control. It is not under the control of the human, it's separate. The chimp works with feelings, with impressions, and reacts. When the chimp thinks, it's emotional thinking rather than logical. The third being that's bouncing around inside of all of our heads, Professor Peters calls the computer. The computer is less of a being, less of a brain, but maybe a tool that can be used by either the human or the chimp. You can think of this as being the RAM and the storage of your brain. This is what we can use to store memories, store information, and what we can use to very quickly go through logical pathways. We can use the computer, for example, when we're asleep. The computer would take over and would make sure we keep breathing, make sure we wake up at the right time. Or we can use the computer when we're doing a task that we are so used to doing, maybe when we're walking or riding a bike. The main lesson, and I think the key takeaway that we should all have from this book, is that a chimp is out of our control, but we can manage it. By using the chimp management strategy, we should be able to take control of 7 areas of our life. First of all, our inner mind, understanding and relating to others, communication, the world in which we live, our health, our success, and our happiness. So let's talk through my key takeaways, my key messages from this book. And first and foremost, it is his fantastic quote. Having a chimp is like owning a dog. You're not responsible for the nature of that dog, but you are responsible for managing it and keeping it well behaved. The chimp is the part of our minds that is driven by emotion. It's going to be concerned with those most basic and primitive needs. So while you cannot control the desires of the chimp, it doesn't mean you have an excuse for its actions. If the chimp messes up, it's you that's messed up, and it's your responsibility to fix it. The book preaches that the thoughts that are bouncing around inside of our head could have come from the human, or it could have come from the chimp. But you, who you want to be, your conscious human self, that is just the human. The chimp is and should be a passenger in our head. It's there to observe and it's there to react in times of really high stress, those fight or flight situations. That is when a chimp really thrives. Not with intelligence, but with brute force and action. You're never going to be able to control what a chimp wants. A chimp wants what a chimp wants. But by taking responsibility for the actions that your body performs, that you perform as a person, you actually become free to really realize what you want. And you become free to change. The second thing that I wanted to talk about from the Chimp Paradox book is the framework that they provide to deal with your expectations of yourself and the expectations of others. I think this one really hit home for me, and it all stems from this quote. What you cannot do is impose your expectations and conditions onto someone and then say that they have a problem. What Professor Peters is talking about here is that not only are you composed of 3 beings, the human, the chimp, and the computer, but so is everyone else. So when you're having a conversation with 2 people, it's normally either human talking to human, it could be a chimp talking to a human, or it could be a chimp talking to a chimp. It's very obviously not fair to judge someone on your own expectations of what they should be or should be doing. The third lesson is one that I've actually also taken from another great book, The Courage to be Disliked. I'll talk about it here if you want to check that out. But that is the idea of enough. It's this idea that the chimp will always want more. A chimp is never full. A chimp is never satiated. There will always be more to be had, and it means that you cannot find this contentment and you can't find enough. This is definitely something that I've found myself struggling with, and particularly, say, for example, with success. I really often fail to stop, think about what I've achieved, and just enjoy that moment. I often then am thinking about the next exam, the next YouTube video. I always have things I want to achieve, and particularly in university, I always have exams and I always have deadlines. But always having lofty goals or things that you want to achieve can mean that when you do manage to succeed and when you do manage to achieve something you were trying to achieve, you don't give yourself time to stop and celebrate. You just gloss over that achievement and you carry on moving towards something else. Possibly my favourite quote from the entire book is this: "The person you want to be is the person you are." If you're wanting to be a particular type of person, you're already most of the way towards being that person. And likely the human in you is that person already, and all you need to do is to control your chimp, bring them in line, and you'll manage to reach that person you're trying to be. I know that there's a lot of fellow medical students on here, so I thought it would be interesting to just have a quick conversation about some of the neuroanatomy and some of the neuropsychology to do with the areas of the brain and the way we think. Okay, first of all, a little caveat. The exact function of different areas of the brain is likely much more complicated than we currently understand, and the suggested functions of the brain that I'm going to tell you now are just our current idea and our current best guess about the different areas of the brain. We can think about thoughts and emotions and reactions in kind of 6 areas of the brain. Area number 1 will be the amygdala, and this is an area of the brain that doesn't really think but reacts. Area number 2 would be the orbitofrontal cortex. This is like your moral center. This is the area of the brain where we get morals and conscience and guilt from. You can think of this as being the little cricket sitting on Pinocchio's shoulder, except it's not actually on your shoulder, it's in your head. And it uses these morals that we've created for ourselves as humans to try and dictate and control what we're doing. The third area of the brain is the Insulated fasciculus, and this is an area of the brain that really its job is to control impulses. If we're going to be exact and scientific, the Insulated fasciculus is a very large white matter tract that connects the prefrontal cortex with the anteromedial temporal lobe. Functionally, we currently think that it plays a very key role in inhibition of your impulses. Next, we have the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and this is the part of your brain which is to do with analytics and reasoning and maths. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex is the area of the brain that lets us think about others' emotions. It lets us project and think about what might be going on in the heads of others. Lastly, we have the cingulate cortex, which is an area of the brain which is dedicated to decision making based on memories and based on past experiences. All of these areas fire up when we're making a decision. So especially with the human part of our brain, when we're having to think rationally, we're trying to consider others around us, trying to think what past experiences can we use to influence this decision. We need all of those 6 areas of the brain to be firing and working together. I hope you found this video interesting. I really love making these videos about books. I've been listening to a lot of self-help books, particularly when I'm running, so I'm getting through at least once a month right now, as well as some other books on the side. If you've enjoyed my book summaries, please leave a comment and like and subscribe, and check out this video, which I've selected especially for you, because I think you'll enjoy it. By using this chimp management strategy, the book proposes that we can take care. By using this chimp management strategy that Professor Peters has proposed, apparently we can take over. By using the chimp management strategy, we can take over. By using the chimp management strategy that By using the book's chimp management strategy, we should be able to take control of 7